morning. Another installment of Behind the Scenes with Campus Minister. This week, last week we had Coach Brown on here talking about technology. This week we've got Bob Leikam, our junior high principal, the high school history teacher, and junior high AD as well. And so Mr. Leikam wears a lot of hats around here. He's very busy, and in fact today he's about to go sub for a teacher who's sick today. So, but he was gracious enough to give us some time today so we can interview him a little bit. Mr. Leikam's been in education a long time, longer than I've been alive actually, which is pretty funny. I like to make fun of him a little bit, but anybody that's been around us kind of knows that. But he's got a great sense of humor, and I really like how much he puts into his job and those sort of things. So, Mr. Leikam, why are you here at TMP? You could be retired on the farm, but why did you choose to come back here?
Well, one of the ambitions that I've always had ever since I started teaching was to eventually come back to TMP and finish my teaching career. And we're in our fifth year, so about 4.5 years ago, I was just teaching down the hallway from Father Mike Scully, and the first thing that he asked me was, Bob, would you be on the governance committee, which would help write the handbook for the new junior high and everything. I said, sure, Father, I'll help you any way I can. And so I was a part of that, and then after that got finished, he said, oh, by the way, Bob, do you think maybe that you could help us get the junior high started since you're retiring over here at Victoria and do a little bit of teaching for us? And I said, sure, that's no problem, Father. I said, but all I really care to do is just teach just a little bit. And Bill DeWitt was in on that asking, that questioning, in other words. And then I got over here, and a couple days before school was ready to start that first year, Bill asked me, he said, oh, by the way, Bob, since you coached so many years over at Victoria, would you help us get the football program and basketball program started? Well, I had to pass that by my wife and everything first, but Trudy said, okay, just go ahead, get it started and everything. So I did a little bit of that, and then Bill up and leaves and goes to Lawrence, and then Kathy Taylor becomes interim principal, and she said, well, she isn't going to do the high school unless I do the junior high, and so, voila, here I am. So that's about 5 years worth of stuff in just a couple minutes.
There we go. And for all of you guys out there kind of know, Mr. Leikam's been a vital part of a lot of us young teachers and coaches. He's pretty humble about this, but he's won a lot of ball games between football and basketball, and you wouldn't know it by talking to him. But not a single day goes by that we don't, pick his brain a little bit. Obviously, nothing on the defensive side because he's his own defense guy, so we don't ask him any questions on that side. But just dealing with different parent situations, different things. I think it's pretty safe to say that a lot of us would not still be in the business if it wasn't for his mentorship and those sort of things. And another thing is just how much he cares about the kids and what he puts into those things. He's got the gruff thing, but all the kids kind of know that he, underneath it all, cares a lot about them. And talk a little bit about your classroom. I think kids have fun in his classroom, but I think there's extremely high expectations, which I think is the perfect combination. So kind of talk a little about your teaching. And
sure, after 38 years of doing this, you kind of, I'd like to believe, in other words, that you kind of figure out where the happy median is as far as kids are concerned. I've always felt that, you can demand as much as you want from kids, and you can set your expectations as high as you would like them to aspire to be, provided that you're just honest with them, and then that also that you show your humanity. I mean, we don't give kids enough credit sometimes because they can see through you probably better than anyone. I mean, what do I mean by seeing through you? In other words, if you make a mistake, always be willing to admit you made a mistake. If you're wrong about something, always be willing to admit that you're wrong. If you don't know an answer to something, the both of you, the kids and you, turn around and find it together. That's what I mean. But when I say be human, be truthful, just be yourself, because you're not very good at, being anything else. I think one thing that, we need more than anything else is that we need good teachers. As technological as we've become, we never will replace the teacher in a classroom. And kids, if they understand and know that you actually care about them, if they understand, in other words, that you're here to benefit them and to try and give them the best that you can give every single day, they'll respond to that. They'll respond very positively to that. And yes, I do set goals and aspire my kids to do extremely well. Not because I want to, be too demanding on them or whatever, but I know what's coming. I know what's coming down the road. And especially out here at TMP, I mean, we owe our kids that. We owe our kids, a good education. We owe them the knowledge that we've, gathered over the years so that they can get over some of it, because it's a tough world, a world that I like to believe a lot of times is just totally spinning out of control, and they've got to be ready for what's coming their way.
Yeah, I like that. I just put a video up yesterday about quit asking for easy, and so you can watch that. That's kind of our philosophy here is, we just got a little bit longer. I know you got to go cover that class. I want you to kind of tell them what TMP meant to you, how it's affected your future, and what you want the kids to get out of the school today.
I that's one of the reasons why I wanted to come back. I can't say enough about this place. I mean, when I went here 40 plus years ago, I mean, it was, most of my teachers were Capuchins. I had a few lay teachers. I had, individuals like Al Billinger and Marion Schmidt and Eddie Turner and Bob Threlkel. I mean, those were some of the lay teachers, but by far most of the teachers that I had were Capuchins. And, there isn't, a day doesn't go by, or hardly anything that goes on in my life that I don't draw from what they taught me here. And that has proven to be, at the time, when I was young, and I'm a product of the late 1960s and early 1970s, and we didn't think we knew it. We didn't think we needed anything because we knew everything. And religion was not a cool thing to be a part of. There was free love, there was this, there was that, or whatever. The good friars, I always refer to them as, those priests gave us discipline at a time when we didn't think we needed discipline, or when society was trying to, for lack of a better way of putting it, move away from anything that had any structure to it. And I just, I got that from TMP. I got a tremendous education spiritually. My faith has stayed with me ever since I got out of TMP. It really has never wavered. I mean, everybody sometimes gets shaken a little bit or rocked a little bit as so far as their faith, but I mean, I never called a timeout. I never said, that has stayed with me, and I appreciated that so much, and that's why I wanted to finish out here. I wanted to give back to TMP in that respect. I want to put the same demands on these kids that were placed upon me, because it didn't hurt me. At the time, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be able to go through this. But I did, and I'm so very fortunate that I got the opportunity to be a part of TMP. That's why I'm back here.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. I got one last question. We go over to Victoria tomorrow, or to the gym that I like to call the House of Leikam built. Brick by brick as he shot. But who are you rooting for tomorrow night?
Oh, TMP.
There we go.
I mean, without a doubt. I didn't even have to think about that one whatsoever. The thing that I want to remind you guys of is, we're not really batting 1,000 over there. Playing over there in the little pit, because it's a pit just like our field house. I mean, that's a tough place to play.
Yeah, I know. You remind me of that every day.
Yeah, and but no. I mean, my goodness, my heart, soul, my blood is blue and white. I mean, it just, go Monarchs. Go take care of Victoria tomorrow evening.
Alrighty. Thank you so much for joining us today. Again, we'll continue to do this, just give you a behind the scenes look at some different people here, different things going on, just so that I think you guys want to know what's happening. So we'll join you again probably next week. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.